My first story is actually of the fact that my roommate during business school, during MBA school, gave me a book for my birthday. And that actually initiated a chain of events, my personal beliefs, and in hindsight was quite consequential. There was a very interesting passage in this book. If we have an endless number of individual minds who are weak, meek, submissive, and impotent, who renounce the creative supremacy for the sake of the whole and accept humbly the whole's verdict, we don't get a collective superbrain. We get only the weak, meek, submissive, and impotent collection of minds. Now this, by the way, is from the book Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, which really is a book for architects here. But I remember this book always being by my bedside, and I would have read the book tens of times because honestly it was the only book I had. As a student in a foreign country, funds were always short, and whatever funds were there were better used for an Indian meal of rice and dal and paneer at the nearest restaurant. Literature was never on my mind. It was always this little book which I had. But this passage always stayed by me and by my side, and I was deeply affected by it, irrelevant of what education I had or whatever I did. You all will be making choices now. I'm sure there's this right job, career, company, institution, further career, further education that you all have been discussing and will have enormous weight of peer pressure too, of societal pressure. Let me save you some heartaches here. There is no right job. There is no right company. There is no right career. In fact, there are no guarantees in life, very clearly. Some of you will be guaranteed be miserable. Let me save you that. And some will be very happy. But more importantly, there's only one guarantee, that you control your choices. And therefore, I think it's important that you don't be somebody that you are not. Make decisions that will make that you live your own life, and the only life that you yourself lead, which only you can live. There is no right or wrong choice, but only the choice that you feel at home and are passionate about. Don't live a second-hand life. All of us have an inner voice, and deep in us, we know ourselves. We know the truth about ourselves. Allow this voice to guide you, because it will always lead you in the right path. Every piece of greatness, a song, a book, art, buildings, design, poems, business, was always created by somebody's individual mind and choice. Sometimes a very hard choice. And this leads me to another sentence which has stayed with me, and probably being in the States for some time, it really had an understanding of why societies are successful and why individuals are successful. And really it was all about not guaranteeing happiness, but very clearly an individual's pursuit of happiness was most important here. So pursue it, because I think that's going to be critical. The second story is, I think, a more personal one for me. Growing up, obviously my father was very, very busy, and he had a small business, and with that business he was responsible for his family, for the society around him, his employees, and all of that stuff. And each and every time he went out, we used to ask him, would you like to travel? Would you like to do other things? And he used to always tell us that, oh, don't worry, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in some time. I'm going to retire at some time, and then I'm going to travel the world, and I'm going to do all of these little things. And he was 63, and at 64, he said, maybe I will do something else, give the business to his son, which is my brother. That same year, he had a stroke, and he was 100% paralytic, in bed, and he had this entire dream that he had of traveling the world and doing so many things which were absolutely not possible. And that really taught me a lot of things here, that life is actually more than a career or a job. You need to build facets to your life now. Read a book, travel the world, play sports, eat great food, make friends, learn a musical instrument. Guess what? That's what I've done for the last 10 to 12 years after he has passed away. Because that's what I learned, that life will never wait for you, and you need to make sure that every minute you take advantage of. And guess what? You cannot define your life on what the position you hold. Because at the end, you'll wonder what did life do and what it passed by, and then it's too late. But when I did all of these things over the last 12 to 15 years, what I realized that I became a better person, I possibly became a better leader, a better teacher, a better activist, a better employee, because there were more facets to my life than just the couple of degrees or some experiences that I had. Because running businesses, running institutions, or living life is not about degrees, as you can well imagine. It's much, much more than that. And each of these little facets will enrich us, not only from a personal perspective, but very, very strangely, it brings a lot of quality to society that you can deliver. So, each and every one of you have been very lucky, especially the graduating class of 2019, because you have won what I would call as the genetic lottery. You won the genetic lottery here because as you take the tentative steps after this graduation, remember, there's 7 billion people around in the world and growing every day. But you're here because your parents have let you have a life which brought you here to NMIS. You'll be surprised, but you're one of the 5% people in the world who have some type of graduate or postgraduate or doctoral degrees. And this is something that we need to be very mindful about. We are very, very, very lucky people because, as I said, we won the genetic lottery and we have parents who actually supported us through this journey. I was very lucky. You guys are super, super lucky. So don't ever forget that. You're 1% of India's wealth, 5% of the global wealth here. And so you will take these tentative steps in the world, and you're going to think about all of the things that you're going to achieve, all of the things that you're going to do. But at the end of the day, please remember to live a life with no regrets, take chances every day, because without risk, without experiences, life is nothing but a couple of positions, a couple of degrees, a couple of things that you do. So with that, I wish you all the best, because the world in front of you is going to be much, much more exciting than the world and the experiences that you have had so far. Thank you.